Interesting season in Dallas. Let us get to the story of the morning. Okay, Dak Prescott, his future as he enters the final year of his deal. Set to make $29 million this upcoming season. We all understand what the cap hit is. It's enormous. He spoke to the media yesterday about his contract negotiations, and listen to how optimistic he sounds about a deal.
I'm happy where I am right now, and that's really all my focus is. And yeah, I mean, as I said, I enjoy being a Cowboy 1,000%. Enjoy living in Dallas, enjoy everything about it. But this is a business, so conversations are going well. Hoping it gets done now, hoping it gets done in a couple of weeks during the season or whenever it happens. I just know conversations are on the right way.
Okay, so we have been sitting here trying to come up with an explanation for the inexplicable. Why doesn't CeeDee Lamb have a contract when absolutely everything seems to suggest that should be the easiest deal in the world to make? And I haven't been able to come up with an explanation. And then I listened to Dak Prescott in that press conference yesterday, and I thought, for the first time, it makes sense. Maybe behind closed doors, in rooms that we're not invited into, in places that we haven't heard much about, these Dak negotiations are much closer to getting done than we think they are. All of us sit here saying, he'd be crazy to sign a contract right now. Well, all of a sudden, he sounds, maybe he's a very good actor.
Well, yes. I mean, look, I think he is. I think when Dak Prescott's finish your thought, and then I'll tell you what.
Either he's a very good actor, or they're closer to a deal than I thought they were, and that might be what's holding up the CeeDee Lamb situation.
It's an interesting theory. I don't think it's accurate, but it's interesting. I think they're trying to do both of these deals. I think they could absolutely get a CeeDee Lamb deal done tomorrow, irrespective of the Dak Prescott situation. But I think when Dak talks publicly, like in a media press conference setting, he's almost like he's like a more authentic and likable Russell Wilson, right? Like he's going to say the right thing, right? Like he's going to do it in less of an obvious way. But I think we're in a situation here where if there is a parting of ways between Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, that's going to be seismic for the franchise. Yeah. And each side is going to want to make sure that the fans know it wasn't their fault. Right? So if Dak leaves, like he wants to be able to say, like, oh, I wanted to be in Dallas, it just didn't work out.
I mean, I've been saying this for a while. I thought, when Tua's deal got done, I think that was the last, chip to fall, and now they can really negotiate off of all the quarterbacks that we consider that Dak considers he's better than and more deserving of the process. Because Tua had played well for the last 2 years, I feel like they're going to hold off on the CD because it's so obvious, so easy to do the CD deal. But, really you want the first deal to be done is Dak Prescott. So I feel like, maybe there is something to this that maybe they've been talking. And at the end of the day, I don't care how many cars and how much leverage Dak has. If he goes into the season and hurts himself like he did before, it ruins it all. Lifelong Dallas Cowboy, that makes you immortalized within that organization and that city for a long time.
So what I've been saying about Dak is not that he'd be crazy to do a deal right now, but he doesn't have to do a deal right now unless he gets everything he wants.
Right.
Now, if part of everything he wants is to be a Cowboy for life and he gets that in this deal, then great, go ahead, get your money. But he's not negotiating against the Tua deal or the Trevor Lawrence deal. He's negotiating against the idea of being on the open free agent market next March. And those are the kinds of numbers they're thinking about. What would that be if all of a sudden the Raiders and the Saints and the Giants and the Jets are all bidding for, and the Cowboys are all bidding for my services? Well, that's going to go way above where Tua is right now. So that's what he's negotiating against because they can't franchise him.
All right, let's open the offices of Tannenbaum and Greenberg for some explanation here. What are you hearing, Mike T?
Well, I think CeeDee Lamb does get done. And I'll say this, if I was a player in the Dallas Cowboy locker room and Dak Prescott gets done before the season, I'm pissed at him. And here's why, Greeny. At a $55 million cap, that's 22% of their salary cap. And we saw Tony Pollard leave. We saw Tyron Smith leave. We saw CeeDee Lamb not get his deal done. Micah Parsons wants a new deal. And you're our quarterback. So if this deal gets done between now and opening day, I'm sure the sentiment in the locker room would be really disappointed with their quarterback because you have a responsibility when you have that much of the team's resources. Get it done early so you have the best chance. They were a really good regular season team, as we well know last year. Try to keep that nucleus together. There's more questions on this team this year than there were last.
You're not buying it, Bart.
Because deadlines spurn action. right? And we've seen Jerry do this over and over again, but at the end of the day, Jerry always signs the guy. Right now, he let Tyron Smith go because I felt like he knew it was time for Tyron Smith to graduate because he knows that Zach Martin is coming. They've drafted a tackle, his replacement.
Yeah.
You know, he was getting older. Like, I think every game was a gift. 13 games started, but he's been injured. You know, so I can't blame this on Dak Prescott. I blame this on Jerry and the sense of urgency starting to pick up because he realizes that, hey, he didn't blink. This is the second time that he didn't blink in negotiations, so I have to kind of concede and give him what he wants. Jerry has always done that, whether it was Emmett after the 2 games,
right,
or whether it was Ezekiel or Elliott going to Cabo, right? So, like, Jerry's never let anybody that was substantial walk away.
Yeah, agreed. Over the last couple of years, we talk about what they do in free agency, but what they tend to do is sign their own people.
Right.
I think Randy Gregory was the one guy, right, that they really tried to sign and lost to another team. So, yeah, but like this is the big one. Like Dak Prescott's the big one. If they lose him, everything's a reset in Dallas. They have to find a new quarterback, possibly a new coach, depending how the season goes.
And
so
Jerry's not getting any younger. So,
right. So I think that's it could happen. Like Dak could be telling the truth. Right, like they have had conversations since camp opened. There's no question about it. The right phone call can take you from we're nowhere near a deal to we have a deal. So yes, would it be surprising? I don't think so. But I think CeeDee Lamb is certain to get done before week 1, and Dak is still up in the air because of his situation, all the leverage he has.
Right. I mean, I keep hearing that CD is certain to be done before week 1. And you know what? I mean, I heard that month ago, and I heard it a week ago, and I heard it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, and now it's Friday. I mean, did he just not want to go to training camp? I mean, does he not want to be in the preseason?
Like, let's keep an eye on that. They're back in Texas next week from Oxnard. Maybe that's when it gets done. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go out there. It's gorgeous out there. It's nice and cool, ocean breezes, all that. But maybe that's it. Maybe he didn't want to go out there. I don't know.
Oxnard in August is a lovely place to be.
I will be completely stunned if CeeDee Lamb is not on the field for the Cowboys week 1.
So will I. But I would have been completely stunned if you had told me that Dak Prescott was going to become an unrestricted free agent next year. And it looks like that's on the way to happening. I want to show you one other thing because there's been so much talk. Can we put that full screen up there, Matt? A45. So we talk about the Cowboys. There's been a lot of conversation all of a sudden, a lot of focus on their cash spending. For the record, this is just the way we keep hearing them saying, oh, we can't sign all these guys. We got all these high-priced guys. Dak Prescott is the only player on the Cowboys roster, the only one scheduled to make $20 million this year. Their division rival, the Eagles, who've been in the Super Bowl twice in the last 7 seasons, have 5 players whose deals have a cash value of at least $20 million.
Well, I mean, this is more of a Mike T special with understanding what the cap is all about and future, consequences with the cap numbers.
It's about money, Mike T.
It's about money.
It's not about the cap. It is about actual spending of money.
But that's why I believe that they didn't sign anybody in free agency because they know they have to get Parsons done. They know they have to get CD done. So they're going to add to that list, and I think that's coming in short order. When they have to figure things out.
You say $20 million. They're going to have 2 guys making over 30 and 1 guy making over 50.
Go ahead.
So they have to structure those deals around each other.
Mike T.
Yeah, exactly. Context is everything here. Obviously, they're planning to get Micah Parsons signed, and obviously CD's get signed. But going back to the Dallas aspect of this, Greeny, here's something that doesn't make sense to me. Jerry Jones is a smart, strategic businessman. I was surprised they didn't draft a quarterback because they know that Dak could walk. They know they can't franchise him. So if we're sitting here in February, and as Graz pointed out, fill in the blank, the Saints, the Raiders, whomever, $60, $61 million, and they walk, you're talking about a massive rebuild, a head coach who doesn't have a contract, who won an extension, and now Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, and Dak Prescott all are free agents. So if I'm Dallas, I don't understand the strategic planning of what they're doing.
They're all in. They are either going to get it done this year or he's blowing it up.
The future is now.
Look, they haven't won anything.
Right.
At the end, they've won a lot of regular season games.
I don't think he signed the last 24 hours. I've been bouncing around like Loyola Marymount. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't think CeeDee Lamb is going to be – he's going to be there in week 1. I don't have any problem with Parsons. Obviously, Prescott, it sounds like he and the Cowboys at least are quietly negotiating down the road. I think Dallas is going to be okay. Now, do I love Dallas' team? Well, they lost last year in the wild card round, so I can't necessarily love them. But Dallas is a playoff, let's be honest. And Stevie, even he knows it. Dallas is a playoff team. I mean, I'm not worried about the running back situation. All right, they lost a couple of running backs. They lost the kid who went to Tennessee. They brought Elliott back, who's probably shot. They'll live. Steve, this is a pretty decent team. I mean, are they a great team? No, but this is a pretty decent team. They'll win there, somewhere between 10 and 12 games, and they'll be in the postseason. Again, I wouldn't make them the favorite, but this is a play. And I know, Bart knows, the Cowboys are a playoff team in 2024.
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I applaud Jerry Jones, and I've been one of the most critical people of the Dallas Cowboys and how cushy and how soft it is around there. And I think Jerry Jones is applying pressure. Now, listen, we all understand the CeeDee Lamb deal is going to get done. As soon as Justin Jefferson was done, we knew what the numbers were and where he kind of sits, maybe below Justin Jefferson, maybe slightly above A.J. Brown. But I think that deal gets done. And that deal is about language and length of contract and skill deprivation and options and all that stuff, no trade clauses. It's about that. But, you talk about a team, in my opinion, that's still one of the most talented teams in football. I mean, they have what you need. They have two of the best. If you add CeeDee Lamb, and Brandon Cooks a great number 2, Ferguson's a good tight end. And what's about to happen is when these cuts come and people start shrinking their rosters down, I think they'll be able to address the running back position because it's going to be a good running back that gets cut from somebody's team. And you look at on the other side, they got two of the best pass rushers in the game. But the key is when they made the trade for Carl Lawson, and people are like, oh, Carl Lawson, he was a disappointment with the Jets. What that allows them to be able to do, Zimmer to be able to do, is use Michael Parsons as a piece. Because if you want to play bully ball and try and beat up on us and run the ball like Green Bay did, then we just move Michael Parsons back to his natural position, the position that he's played his entire career. We're moving a middle linebacker. And you talk about Eddie Kendricks being there, so you have two guys in the middle. So I'm good with that.
Well, you got Mike Zimmer switching them to a 4-3, so that definitely is helpful for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's going to make them a bit more formidable defensively because they were getting ran over last season. I think that's something that they're addressing defensively, and major props to them. I'm going to say this, though. I don't think you can guarantee that they're a playoff team because, for me, okay, they won the division last year. They won 12 games each of the last 3 seasons before they went home, obviously. But the flip side to it is that I expect the Eagles to win the NFC East. Unless we're saying the Cowboys are going to win the division, then we've got to look at the Dallas Cowboys as a wild card. Okay, let's take into account the wild card scenario. Is somebody coming out of the North, whether it's the